Welcome back to my garden. Today we're here to talk about deadheading. These are Anastasia's petunias. She's had them for a couple days now, and the flowers will bloom, and at the end of the day, they're dead. Like this one. What you do, this goes for any flowering plant, unless you want the flower to turn into fruit. So like tomatoes and peppers, you're not going to take the flower off. But roses, petunias, dahlias, you name it. When your flower is done blooming and it dies off, just pinch it off or cut it off with a pair of pruning shears. This will allow for the plant to be able to put out more flowers. And with these guys, if you take the stem of the flower and you stick it into dirt, they root extremely easy. And it's not 100%. Some of them will take and others won't. But it's very easy to do. You just follow the flower down to the first leaf, and I pinch it with my nails, but a lot of people don't like that. So if you have pruning shears, sharp scissors, go ahead and use those. And you stick it in the dirt right up to this point here, where the flower came out from the stem. And you just keep the soil moist. And eventually, you can fill the pot in, and your plant is not lanky. Now, you can skip this altogether if you don't mind your plants drooping and whatnot, but it'll put out more green growth instead of flowers. So, in order to encourage more flowers to bloom, you want to pinch the dead ones off. As for the geranium goes, they put out clusters of flowers at the top. And after a while, they start getting weathered. You get little white specks here, browning, curling around the flower ends. Instead of snipping the whole thing off, what I do is I go through and I just pinch the affected flower off. Now, I'm not sure if you can root from the flower, but you can always try by sticking the stem in. If you don't want to try, just lay it down. When you root geraniums, however, I've always had luck with this part, the stem of the flower. If you cut this off and bring it in the house and put it in water, makes your house look pretty, helps keep the bugs away, but it also starts to grow roots in water. But removing just the flowers instead of the whole head allows all the buds inside to come out. Now I forgot I put some more seeds down in my herbs, so I'm going to move these guys into the next container. As you can see, as I take off the wilted flowers, the buds are starting to come up and fill it up. The same goes for the leaves. They'll start to yellow before they die off, and you can pluck them the same way. I don't have any currently that are about to die off, but you can pluck them the same way as the flowers, right about where the stem is. And again, I don't know if they root from the leaf, but you could stick it in the dirt and try. The best way to root geraniums is actually to wait till you have a cluster of new growth come off the bottom like this. As you can see, it's already starting to put out little roots, so I probably should not have taken it out of the soil. But you push it all the way in to the dirt to keep it moist, right up to where it splits. Now I didn't have much to work with there. However, this one seems to be doing just fine. And while I'm here, get to check out if I have any new growth. I got a new leaf. This is my Hungarian black pepper. Now it's an itty bitty plant I will try and get you a shot of later. But I have been babying this like you won't believe. I have a few plants in intensive care, however, so even my garden's not perfect. But on a hot day like today, you want to make sure your soil stays moist, especially if you're trying to root anything, because the top of the soil will dry out a lot quicker than the bottom. So, moving on to marigolds. Marigolds, like any other flowering plant, will continue to bloom all season long. Now what you can do to encourage more blooms is to pinch their heads off when they dry up. Their petals will get crinkly. Now all of these are seeds. They're not fully dry, so I don't know if they will bloom this year. However, you can wait until they dry up a little bit more, but you might not have as many blooms that way. Or you could take them and dry them in your house. Now, it doesn't look like they all got pollinated. I do believe this is the closest to pollinated. It's supposed to be black on the bottom, and then you have the petal up top. It's really easy. If you want to sprinkle them in the dirt, they will overwinter and come up the next year. So that's all up to you. I hope you enjoyed our deadheading video. And remember, flowers are your friend in the vegetable garden. Marigolds are actually edible. Not that I would eat them, but a lot of annual flowers will deter insects from eating your plants, as I mentioned in my last video. They also help bring the pollinators out, and we all want to take care of our pollinators. So thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you next time.